again, and welcome to our first DLC. So we're going to continue and check out our first DLC of our game. Okay, of our lives, beginnings and always. So let's go. Every year, the Sunset Bird Memorial Library held a summer reading program. Ooh, perfect. I was just gonna say, time for us to get settled in for another cozy episode. And books and libraries are just the kind of headspace we need to be in. Ooh. Your moms and Lizzie were a big fan of it. Belle and Mommy because they encouraged reading, and Lizzie because she could win prizes. Fair enough. When it came to what you thought of having to read a bunch of books and then going to a library with a competitive Lizzie, you loved it, you didn't care, you hated it. I'd say I don't care as long as everyone's happy, I guess. It was just something you did every year. You didn't question it much. Fair enough. Traditions are traditions. When it was something you didn't care much about either way, you tended to just go along with your family. You and Lizzie went with Shiloh before, and this year you've brought Cove too. His dad had been so over the moon about Cove being included that he'd driven all four of you. You had never been in Cove's dad's car before. It seemed a lot shinier than your mom's. After herding the group inside, Mr. Holden gave you all a wide wave with the arm that has a stingray on it. Have fun, kids. He's got like a tribal tattoo of it. Stay inside the librarians, you hear? I wish I could watch you in action, but your poor old dad has to finish up some work. I wonder where he works or what he does. Though I'm sure that won't get in the way. Heck, I'll probably hold you kids back. There's pointedly no reply from his son over what was likely meant as only a joke. Cove's dad seems to deflate a bit. I'll swing around again when this shindig ends. Yeah, you can go home now. Oh, you don't have to throw me out the door. Your sister already in full competition mode cuts him off. For once, Cove looked grateful she was there. We have to go find a table, Mr. Holden. You can talk to Cove after, when we win. Okay, see you in about an hour. Have fun. Did I say that already? My advanced stage is really catching up to me now. Bye, Dad. Bye, son. I wonder what the weird dynamic is of their relationship, where they came from, why the mom's not involved at all, like all this kind of stuff. It's just so odd. I'm so curious. The four of you watch him shuffle out of the library, glancing over his shoulder at Cove more than once. Bye, Mr. Holden. Thank you for bringing us. Thanks, Lizzie. I don't know what you're thanking me for. Are you copying Shiloh? Distracted, Cove was already glancing around the gigantic library. I want to go explore. What? I said I want to go look around and see what's in here. But the quiz starts soon. That's why we came. Wide at the first sign of conflict, Shiloh's eyes darted between Lizzie and Cove. Then you can do it without me, right? You don't need a bunch of people. Didn't your dad say to stay with the librarians? You shouldn't go somewhere by yourself. Cove leveled an unimpressed stare at both of them, that his eyes met yours. Cove's idea is more fun. I'll stick with Lizzie. I'd rather go exploring. The quiz sounds better. Go over to Cove. Stay next to Lizzie. We'll go over to Cove. Walk over to Cove, averting your eyes from Lizzie. Cove looked surprised, but happy at the same time. If you're going to be honest with yourself, it wasn't like you to outright do something you knew Lizzie would be mad about. Ugh, fine, let's go, Shiloh. Okay. Her eyes told her your sister stormed off. Shiloh had to race to keep up with her. She cares a lot about that. Uh-huh. Shiloh looks like a chinchilla trying to keep up with a horse. You couldn't help but laugh. Since you've been here a lot before, we could play hide and seek. Hide and seek, not exploring? Yep. If I'm searching for you and you're searching for me, we'll really have to look at everything. Oh, look, looks like the happiest I've seen him. You weren't entirely sure of how effective that would be, but couldn't say he was totally wrong. I'll hide first. Decision made, Cove took off towards the back of the library. You've already agreed to play with him instead, so you covered your face and waited for 10 seconds. We looked up again, he was nowhere to be seen. You glanced over toward the way he went. Cove hadn't had much time to hide, but he was already invisible. The place you decided to check was next to the Peter Pan poster, beside the fairy tale display, behind the solar system model. I wonder if they gave us an idea of where to go before, or if I'm overthinking it entirely by even asking that. You know what? We'll go with green on green. The library had lots of hidey holes all over the place along the walls. Your mom called them alcoves. Every single one had its own cool, shiny book poster next to it. This one had Peter Pan and a young girl flying through the sky. Two young kids trailed behind them. It was captioned, Wendy Darling's First Flight in big bold letters. Huh, that must be Wendy. But this wasn't where Cove was, at least not originally. Cove poked his head out of a teeny little seating area. Yeah, with her brothers Michael and John. Even having assumed that he was in there, you still jumped a little bit, which made Cove grin. I came out, but I guess it's still over. Your turn now. I'm going to cover my eyes and count to 10. I promise I won't peek. While Cove had his eyes securely behind the palms of his hand, you went to go hide. By the fire awareness station near the stuffed animals, under the giant piece of fruit, by the outlaw poster in the fantasy section near the toddlers books. We'll go fantasy section. You decided to hide from Cove in the fantasy section. Really? He never really mentioned being interested in fantasy, so you had a pretty good odds of hiding for a while there. There. If he didn't pay attention to it, or read it much, he might just glance over it. And you were right, sort of. He left you waiting for a while, long enough that you eventually pushed yourself to your feet to stretch your legs. You won the round, but Cove wasn't even trying. Over the edge of the shelf, you saw him standing and staring at a bunch of books. You tapped him on the shoulder and he spun around. Ah! Sorry, I was gonna come find you soon. It's alright. What's, He gestured to the shelf full of books and the one in his hand that had clearly been taking up all his attention. They're the Narnia series. They have talking animals and a magical land and intense fights. My mom used to read them with me. Oh. Their favorite one was Susan. You weren't sure what to do. I feel like this music is way too upbeat now for what's going on. You weren't sure what he would do. His mom was always a sensitive topic. He topped the book back on the shelf, and that was all. It was nice the memories made him happy instead of sad this time. That's nice. Good personal growth. It's my turn again. Start counting so I can go pick a spot. You didn't even find me. Okay. Cove darted off before you even had a chance to fully close your eyes. 1 Mississippi. When the time was up, he was long gone again. There's still a lot of good places to hide, so you figured he was in all the old Christmas stuff next to the Kid Detective poster behind Willy Wonka statues. Again, I feel like there's no obvious evidence on where to go, so I think we're gonna go with the colors. So next to the Kid Detective poster. You figured he was probably near the poster with a gigantic poster of a smirking kid detective case. Cove could have hidden in the itty-bitty little reading area next to it. Glancing past the poster itself, briefly your brain registered the words. Joni B. Jones. Don't call her Beatrice. Oh my gosh, I feel like I remember these books. I'll have to see if I can find them again and if I'm right. But yes, I feel like I recognize this. In big, imposing letters. You pause to stare at it for a second, thinking. Oh, I remember. It gives you such a flashback now, like the old books I used to read as a kid. Oh my goodness. Why would I call her Beatrice if her name was Junie? Shaking your head to clear away the distraction, you tiptoed in to see who was sitting in the comfy chair. And sure enough, it was Cove. But he was so absorbed in the book he was reading that he hadn't even noticed you yet. I don't think most people read while playing hide and seek. Cove glanced up at you in one rough motion. Oh, hi Jamie. I wasn't sure when you'd get here. It took a while. Not that long. Could have been worse, but it could have been better. Let's keep playing. Well, it doesn't seem like you want to. I'm doing good. He put his hands over his eyes, but before you could run off again, a librarian approached the two of you. Ah, kids have been looking for you. Cove beat between his fingers at the stranger. Us? You must be Cove. Your dad told me he was waiting by the entrance. Cove blinked, mouth open like he was going to say something, then glanced down at his pink cast. In a pretty clear giveaway. It was pretty clear giveaway. Sure. It's my sister Lizzie with him. She's taller than us, and she has orange hair. You're Jamie, right? You nodded. Phew, I found both of you at once. That's right, she's with him and the little guy with freckles. Come on, let's get you reunited so we can close up for the night. Wait, were we gone that long? That seemed pretty quick. Ready to go home, you and Cole followed him up front, where the ragtag group of family members and Shiloh were all waiting. There you are. She was pouting. You could tell from all the way across the room, and it was only that much more obvious as you got closer. Did you win? We came in second. Hey gang, I thought you'd have been with them the whole time. Cove, I'm glad you didn't just go off by yourself at least. Cove glanced over at you, then back up at his dad. Me too. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad it's like... I hope we're actually getting along. A broad smile spread over Mr. Holden's face. Because I keep thinking that, like, because before it seemed as if we were, or they told us we were disinterested, that we couldn't recover it. Like, I'm hoping to find that we go into stage 2 with fond, crush, or love, like something like that. It's one of those. And then that's how you end up developing your relationship with him, because otherwise I can't imagine how the story goes, or if it's as interesting, really. So, hopefully we're working towards the fun outcome. Even so, next time you should... Cove's dad glanced around, slightly frantic, but Cove, just like always, had snuck off without thinking to say anything. Damn, he's like a Russian spy. There and gone in a blink of an eye. He's leaving. Cove's trying to be the first one to the car. With a sudden burst of speed, Lizzie darted for the exit, still in Victor to be mode, even for something like a race to the ride the front seat. Whew. Getting full-on yawns as I get cozied in. There was nothing else for the three of you to do except head after them, pretending the librarians hadn't noticed all the commotion. Though Lucy had been victorious in claiming a window seat in the car, you could tell by her crossed arms and occasional pout that she still had not forgiven your betrayal. My gosh. Cove hadn't been happy that she shot past him at the last second, and that he had to sit in the middle between you and Shiloh. Did you say you came in second place? That's some good going. No, it's not. She leaved another glare at you over her shoulder. Ugh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Goodness gracious. Ready to take a good crash after this. Not in the car, though. No crashing in the car. Ah, sure hers. Trying to improve. Good too. I was winning our game. You nodded, even though you felt that with another couple of rounds you could have swung a victory. Hide and seek with just you two? That doesn't even count as winning. Why not? It's not special. There's no judge or prizes. Lizzie is getting on my last nerve. You eyed the seat that she fought so hard to win. That wasn't much of a prize either. Dad. Yes? You could see Cole's eyes in the rearview mirror, suddenly attentive at his son's call. We need a prize. Oh, as a matter of fact. Mr. Holden focused intently on the road. ahead, as though a suitable reward to please Cove might appear before him. Right, the big thing on the flyer for this was the chance to get a free pizza coupon, wasn't it? How about I call up a takeout place and we can have pizza at home for dinner? Lizzie huffed, pulling her arms close to her chest. Great, now only Cove gets anything good. Hey there, I'll ask your moms if it'd be alright for you kids to have some. Please, she smiled as she stood out the window at the scenery whizzing by. Thanks, Mr. Holden. Thanks, Dad. You're welcome. I do what I can. Oh, nice. It's like they're getting along. But you really should have stuck with the group. The quiz would have been fun. That was the plan when I dropped you off. We stayed together and didn't leave the library. I'm glad for that. I am. Well, there's a lot of trouble you can get into if you do have... Even if you do have a buddy. Along for the ride. Just be careful next time. I worry about you, and I bet Jamie's parents wouldn't want her running off unexpectedly either. Okay, son? Okay. That's my boy. Now enough guff from your old dad. Let's decide what kind of toppings we're gonna get. He keeps calling himself old, and I'm pretty sure he looks like he's like late 20s at the most. Pepperoni. Sounds good. Anything else? And the conversation continued there, with debates on what was best to put on a pizza for the rest of the drive. Mr. Holden wanted anchovies. The other three kids in the car had to band together to explain how gross they were. The way Co's dad laughed up in the front seat made you wonder if he was doing it on purpose. I don't think I've tried anchovies, but I am almost kind of curious, but almost scared as well because of how disgusting everyone makes them sound. Still, the promise of pizza was appealing, as it always is. Even if it did have to come with a mandatory side order for mandatory side order of Cove. What did I do? It feels like I messed up, and so my character is just forever going to not like him, no matter what I do. Like, I know it says that it'll change your opinion or the way you see him or how your relationship works as you go on, but it seems as if she just forever doesn't like him. Like, you make one mistake and it's not changing. So I hope that it changes, or I guess we'll have to go back at some point and try again, because it seems like I'm just screwed this from the beginning, and I hope that's not the case. You were glad you decided not to do the quiz this time, and we're already getting curious about how things will play out next year. Ooh. So, okay, so that ends that one. I certainly hope that it doesn't end up being that we're just kind of, like, tainted the rest of the way. I would assume that it seems like you can make different choices in even though... almost dropped my mic again. Even though it seems as if the disinterest is just hanging and I don't know how to fix it. Hopefully that's not the case. I'm really hoping for the best at the end, but I guess we'll see. We can only hope for the best. I definitely want to try again if it ends up not going the right way, because I really want it to end up with the sort of, because it seems it has a stage of nervous disinterest, fond crush, and love, and he would apparently is the only love interest, and you can either have the ending with all the sort of cutscenes with him and everything turning out really good, or no idea what happens otherwise. Ugh. All that said, I think apparently I've gotten too cozied up and need to go to bed. But hopefully we can turn this around, make it a good thing. We'll see how it goes. Sorry if I possibly made you yawn. Hope that maybe this worked as good background noise though. Like, I tend to like to listen to videos with reading and things like that that don't have a bunch of like shocking noises and things going on, which is why I haven't really added them as background noise when I try to sleep, weird as I am. But anyway, none of that matters. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for sticking around if you have so far. If you've seen all of them, I'm glad we've got the DLCs and we can follow this in order all the way through. One more yawn. For the road. And hopefully you'll stick around for the next one. I am hoping to keep this going. I think I'd be totally disappointed if I didn't manage to turn this around, but we'll see how it goes, and I want to stick with it and see it through to the end. So we'll find out, I guess. And thanks again for sticking around to check it out. So have a good night, I guess, if it's evening for you. If it's day, have a good day. I'm gonna peace out either way. And that's gonna be that. I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna bye.